Part 40. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 391. When Yang Lin said that he was an immortal cultivator, the public opinion storm was impossible to stop. Apart from the officials of the Dragon Kingdom, the ones most affected are the major sects. The Mountain Gate, which is usually unattended on weekdays, ushered in the first round of peak passenger flow that day. Some local people almost directly found the Taoist temple closest to them. Longhu Mountain next to Luteng City is also not immune. Less than half an hour after the press conference ended, a large group of people from Wang crowded outside the gate of Longhu Mountain. The two little Taoist boys who stayed outside were dumbfounded. What's going on? Why are so many people here all at once? Yeah, what the hell is this? They're not here to cause trouble. Don't worry so much, go and inform the master, and call the police by the way. That's too late. Before the two Taoist boys could figure out the situation, several young men walked up to them. I thought these people would be detrimental to me, but to the surprise of the two young Taoists, this group of young people not only did not show any hostility, but were also very polite, and even had a hint of fear in their eyes. It seemed like he was afraid of these two little Taoist boys. Because of this, the two little Taoist boys gradually gained courage. What are you here for, fellow layman? If you are here to offer incense, just go up the mountain on your own. If you have other matters, you can tell us first. As soon as Ziodeo's fairy tale was finished, a very energetic young man couldn't help but ask. Taoist priest, please tell me if you can cultivate immortality here. As soon as these words came out, everyone else present looked expectantly. The two Taoist boys looked at each other when they heard this. This layman, could you please say it again? Taoist priest, what I mean is that you don't want to recruit disciples, do you have any requirements? Perhaps because he felt that the energetic guy didn't understand the question clearly, one of his companions asked again. After hearing this question, the little Taoist boy showed an expression of sudden realization. We do recruit disciples, but it usually takes 3 years to become a formal disciple. In the first 3 years, you can practice on the mountain or at home. I knew it could. The little Taoist boy's words were like a match that quickly ignited everyone's hearts. It's just that they obviously didn't understand what they said. So how much does it cost if we want to sign up? In terms of money, we actually charge this very cheaply, 40,000 yuan a year, which includes food, accommodation, and education. Only 40,000. When the little Taoist reported the fee, everyone who was already excited suddenly became even more excited. It only costs 40,000 yuan a year, including food and accommodation. It turns out that cultivating an immortal is so cheap. If I had known, I would have come here to study. Are there any other charging items? For example, how much extra does it cost to learn how to control a sword? How much extra does it cost to learn lightning techniques? It's possible, it's just like taking a driver's license test. I wonder how many years of study can make me immortal. Longhu Mountain, as an authentic Taoist sect, should have many powerful immortal cultivators. That's for sure, maybe even stronger than Yang Lin. Let's go, hurry up and pay to sign up, and then start our journey of cultivating immortals. Listening to these people's words, the two Taoist boys responsible for guarding the mountain gate went from confused to confused. The CPU is almost dry, and I don't know what these people are talking about. What sword control, what thunder method? Are they crazy? They are still immortal. Why don't we know where the immortal cultivator comes from? What on earth do they want to do? Before the two little Taoist boys could figure out the true purpose of these people, they swarmed into Longhu Mountain again. It didn't take long for Longhushan's finances to blossom. And the same thing happened in other Taoist holy places in the Dragon Kingdom. Wudang Mountain, Yimei Mountain, Qingcheng Mountain, Mishan Mountain, Lashan Mountain, etc. Despite this, people from all major sects still couldn't laugh or cry. Some people even spend millions directly in order to successfully enter the mountain gate. The reporters who attended the press conference had already left, and everyone in the program team was no exception. Ancestral Master, why do you want to make such an important matter public? These reclusive Taoist priests were immediately confused. Just when everyone was complaining and preparing to ask Yang Lin the real reason, another group of people came outside the conference room. It's okay for you. We in Mission can no longer accommodate those tourists. We have to ask my apprentice to perform a corpse exorcism. How can we do this? Before they could speak, Yang Lin had already taken the lead in saying what they wanted to know. In the past, I have never seen so many people so interested in Taoism. It goes without saying that these people must represent the Dragon Kingdom officials. After seeing Yang Lin sitting at the top, they breathed a sigh of relief. They clamored to go to their inner door to have a look. In less than 10 minutes, Taoist priests from all the great gates walked in. Moreover, these people have one thing in common, that is, they ask if they can cultivate immortality. The fact was indeed not beyond his expectation. We are not here in Mount Ime. They have searched us inside and out, and they even ask our disciples to perform sword flying. If they don't perform, they won't leave. Yeah, isn't this just a mess? It wasn't until they went online and saw the content of Yang Lin's press conference on the internet that they suddenly realized it. After the press conference, Yang Lin did not leave the conference hall. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, the Taoists nodded. The leader among them is Gong Baichen, the top leader of Luteng City. They can't figure it out why so many people today are so enthusiastic about cultivating Taoism and becoming immortals. The key is that after the Taoist priests said that they had no way to teach them the way to become immortals, those people still didn't believe it. Our Wudane Mountains are similar. It must be said that there are immortals hidden in our Wudane Mountains. Because he knew that someone else would come looking for him soon. And behind him was a group of men and women who didn't look simple. Yes, I just finished answering the phone. Our Longhu Mountain is about to be trampled by tourists. They ask everyone if they want to teach them immortal magic. Judging from Gong Baichen's attitude, these people might have higher official positions than him. Questions like how much money do you have to pay to become a disciple? You must be curious as to why Pandeo wants to make these things public, right? According to incomplete statistics, there are more tourists going to famous mountains on that day than on holidays. If Pandeo is not mistaken, there should be many people looking for you at the mountain gate now. The more famous it is, the more people will go. The time came to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 392. With such a big incident happening, the officials of the Dragon Kingdom are already very busy at the moment. They not only have to deal with the doubts from the people. They also have a lot of questions internally. So the solution they could think of was to find the root of Yang Lin's problem. Daozang Yang, you are still here. You have really hurt us this time. Gong Baichen couldn't help but vomit bitterness as soon as he saw Yang Lin. You don't know. Nowadays, everyone is asking about cultivating immortals. From children to adults, our office building is almost blocked by those people. But how do we know about the weird questions they ask? After saying this, Gong Baichen seemed to have thought of something again, and quickly looked at Yang Lin cautiously. Teacher Yang said that there are really many gods in our Dragon Kingdom, just like in the legend. How about you tell us what this world is like? As soon as these words came out, everyone present nodded immediately. Whether it was the people from the Taoist sect or the official staff of the Dragon Kingdom, they knew nothing at all. But the people didn't believe what they said. You really want to know? Yang Lin glanced at them with a joking expression. Yeah, Yeah, I really want to know. Okay, then I will tell you the truth, but you must ensure that you don't spread it casually. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, Gong Baichen said firmly. Absolutely no rumors. All of you put your communication equipment aside, then go and block the surveillance camera over there, and have 2 more people guard the door. Seeing that Gong Baichen was so serious, everyone present was unambiguous. They were quickly followed one by one. After confirming that what happened at the scene would not be leaked, they turned their expectant eyes to Yang Lin. And Yang Lin had already organized his language at this moment. Actually, this world is similar to what you imagine. Whether it's ghosts or gods, it's all just a kind of consciousness. Affected by human will, they may appear in some special way. The so-called immortal cultivators are basically the same. Pandeo doesn't know how many immortal cultivators there are in the world, but what is certain is that there is more than just Pandeo. There is one in Zairi next door. This evil cultivator from Neon was the one who stole the destiny of the Dragon Kingdom and tried to overthrow the Dragon Kingdom this time. Under Yang Lin's processing, some information that no one knew was also revealed one by him. And when everyone learned that the evil cultivator who had lived a small life actually intended to subvert the entire Dragon Kingdom to help him ascend to immortality, their expressions all changed. What? Such a thing could happen. To actually want to become an immortal through such an evil way is indeed an evil cultivator. I just said, how could I know so much in my childhood? It turns out that there is an expert behind my back. Then our Dragon Kingdom is in danger, isn't it? If it weren't for Taoist Yang, we might still be in the dark until we die. Then what should we do now? What else can we do? We need to report this matter quickly. Incidents of this level are beyond our ability to handle. Suddenly, the scene became panicked. In the end, their eyes focused on Yang Lin again. Daozang Yang, on behalf of the 1.4 billion people of Dragon Kingdom, I would like to express my gratitude to you. At the same time, I also hope that you can help us, please. As he spoke, the officials of the Dragon Kingdom, represented by Gong Baichen, bowed deeply towards Yang Lin. The same is true for everyone in the Taoist sect. Although they knew Xiaoli's plan, they didn't know that an evil cultivator was causing trouble in all of it. After everyone expressed their gratitude, Yang Lin spoke again. You don't need to thank me. Sooner or later, I will meet that evil cultivator. It's just that he probably doesn't know I exist yet. In fact, I am not only helping you with this matter, but also helping myself. As soon as these words came out, everyone's faces suddenly showed a look of understanding. Then, Taoist Yang, is it part of your plan to disclose the secret of the existence of immortal cultivators to the public? After all, everything is in chaos outside now. If a reasonable plan cannot be come up with, people may not be able to live in a short period of time. But what can we do for them to repair? Of course, there was actually another reason why he chose to spread these scriptures. But just when they took their things and were about to leave, Yang Lin called out to them again. Perhaps seeing everyone's inner thoughts, Yang Lin's face immediately showed a slight smile. Tao Zhang Yang, what you mean is that there is a method of cultivation here, but ordinary people can't practice it, right? And what he said was true. I know you want to eliminate the impact and allow people to return to normal life. But the prerequisite for practicing these is to have spiritual energy. After speaking, Yang Lin threw away the volumes of scriptures in his hands. Looking at the scriptures that Yang Lin took out and listening to his introduction, everyone present's eyes widened. But when I think about it carefully, it seems that they haven't solved the problem this time. Yes, this way the poor Taoist can interfere with the evil cultivator's sight, so that he will not dare to act rashly in a short period of time. I see everyone finally understood Yang Lin's intention. This volume is the Huangting Sutra. If they have understanding, they can naturally understand the method of cultivating immortals from it. If they don't have understanding and opportunity, they can't blame others. On this blue star without aura, no matter how talented you are, you won't be able to achieve anything. At most, your body will be stronger than ordinary people and less likely to get sick. Gongbaichen and others naturally did not know his deep meaning. This volume is the purpose of Tei Jinhua, and it contains the path to the origin and flow of the Qi body. Soon he took out several volumes of Taoist scriptures and several volumes of health-preserving exercises. After saying that, Yang Lin dug into his sleeves. Yes, there are only a few people with the qualifications to cultivate immortality. Whether they succeed or not depends entirely on fate. This volume is the 8-part Vajra Kung Fu. The first volume is Vajra and the second volume is Immortality. Even ordinary people can strengthen their bodies by practicing it. Will this work? That is to use these scriptures as bait to see if they can catch some cultivators like him hiding in this world. He doesn't care how to distribute it. But soon they also noticed a subtext in Yang Lin's words. This is easy too. Actually, this is simple. If they want to become immortals, just let them do it. For them, with these cultivation methods, they can go back to work. And this matter is like a fire wrapped in paper. Sooner or later it will be exposed again. It is better for the people to accept it earlier. Of course it can be done. Anyway, these are authentic cultivation methods. Just give them to practice. These are indeed the cultivation methods of the 8 classics, and they are all authentic Taoist sects. Anyway, those people outside are fooling around, and the novelty has worn off. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 393. Taoist Master Yang, is there anything else? Listening to Yang Lin's voice, everyone who was about to leave couldn't help but wonder. After you go back, you must fully disclose these exercises. In addition, in a few days, Pandeo will prepare you to go to various places in the Dragon Kingdom to break the troubles left by those small days. You must be prepared and don't forget to negotiate with each place. So fast, upon hearing Yang Lin's words, everyone present showed surprised expressions. Of course we have to do it quickly. If we can't get rid of it as soon as possible, disasters will continue to happen all over the Dragon Kingdom. And if they attack the Dragon Vein directly, the national destiny of the Dragon Kingdom will be damaged. Okay, we understand, Taoist priest, you need to pay more attention to this matter. After understanding the stakes, Gong Baichen and other official representatives of the Dragon Kingdom immediately looked serious. Everyone in the Taoist sect also nodded repeatedly. Okay, let's go. If it's not a big deal, don't just come and look for Pandeo. After casually dismissing everyone present, Yang Lin was left alone in the huge conference hall again. He could feel that after he admitted his identity as an immortal cultivator, everyone's attitude towards him had obviously changed. There was a hint of fear. But this is understandable. After all, in the eyes of ordinary people, immortal cultivators are aloof beings, especially those who possess power far beyond ordinary people. A normal person would worry. It seems that it will be difficult to get along with them as ordinary people in the future. After sighing softly, his figure flashed. When he reappeared, he was already in a deep mountain. Ever since he found out about the evil cultivator, he had always had a trace of worry in his heart. Although he is now in the realm of the Yang God, he is only one step away from becoming an immortal. But that evil cultivator obviously came to this world earlier than him, and there is a high probability that his cultivation level cannot be lower than his. If there was a head-on collision in the future, he couldn't guarantee that he would be able to defeat him. So in order to be more safe, he decided to add a little more protection to himself. Thinking of this, he looked at the mountain in the distance. According to the records in the Book of Searching for Dragons, this mountain also hides a top-notch dragon cave, and being buried in it can enhance one's luck. And this burial does not refer to burial after death, but burying one's personal belongings and body, hair, and skin in it while alive. It is similar to planting foundation, but the effect will be stronger. If combined with the burial scriptures, it would be even more incredible. As soon as he thought about it, his figure disappeared again. At the same time that Yang Lin began to plan for his future, a major event happened again in Long Kingdom. Many official departments of the Dragon Kingdom simultaneously claimed that immortal cultivators do exist. As soon as this news came out, the people were in an uproar. However, this is not the end. After announcing the existence of immortal cultivators, Dragon Kingdom officials disclosed to the public two immortal cultivation techniques that they claimed could be practiced. One is called Huangting Sutra, and the other is called 8 Parts of Vajragong. A moment of silence and a moment of movement. The full text of the two exercises was widely publicized, word for word. At first, people thought the government was fooling them. But as they studied these two exercises, they soon discovered that these seemed unlikely to be fake. Immediately, the entire social network of Dragon Kingdom exploded. It's incredible, the official actually made the immortal cultivation technique public. I knew that the authorities definitely knew something that we didn't know. Now it's a hammer blow. If it weren't for Yang Lin, we might have been kept in the dark by them all our lives. Yeah, this time they definitely couldn't bear the pressure, so they had no choice but to make it public. Huangting Sutra, the 8 parts of Vajra Kung Fu, sounds very awesome. You are still laughing and joking here, I have already started practicing. Holy shit, it really works. I just practiced the 8 parts of Vajra Kung Fu for 5 minutes. Now I feel hot all over my body and I feel like there is a lump in my lower abdomen. I have it too, but why am I sweating profusely from practicing? I practiced Huangting Jing, and I felt like just following the contents in it and meditating for a while, all the distracting thoughts in my mind disappeared. It seems that these are real immortal cultivation techniques. In addition to those released by the official, various Taoist temples in the Dragon Kingdom soon began to openly recruit disciples one after another. They admit without hesitation that as long as they are willing to join, they can learn the authentic method of cultivating immortals by paying the tuition fee. This also resulted in the number of apprentices in various Taoist temples beginning to fill up in less than a day. But perhaps because people can learn it easily nowadays, the enthusiasm of the people is not as high as before. At the same time that the Dragon Kingdom was setting off a nationwide craze for cultivating immortals, the variety show Come On Workers also began to become popular for the second time. After all, there is a real immortal cultivator in the show. Even some details of Yang Lin's previous recording of the program were revealed by netizens again. What they couldn't understand before, now they suddenly felt enlightened. Feeling the rising popularity of the program, the senior executives of the program team immediately gathered together again. Everyone should have seen this wave of enthusiasm, and they were all brought by Yang Lin. So I think it is necessary to make a second adjustment to our current program format. In the conference room, Yao Yuan, the chief planner, said with a red face. Adjustment? How to adjust? Everyone looked puzzled. The direction of adjustment is very simple. We must continue to increase our attention to Yang Lin and make him the main star of our show. But hasn't he always been the main star of our program? Yeah, right now, he has the largest number of viewers in the live broadcast room. Then again, he hasn't broadcast for several days. While everyone was talking quietly, Yao Yuan signaled everyone to quiet down. You didn't understand what I meant. What I meant was to make the entire show revolve around Yang Lin. Since the audience already knows the identity of Yang Lin, the immortal cultivator, we will simply show it to them openly. There should be more elements of cultivating immortality in the show. After all, Being a cultivator is also a profession, and we want the audience to know more about this profession. Following Yao Yuan's explanation, everyone present immediately looked at each other. This idea is undoubtedly a good one, but the question is whether Yang Lin himself agrees with it. Is he really willing to show ordinary people the daily life of an immortal cultivator? Before everyone could come up with a result from the discussion, a dazzling light suddenly came from outside the window, and at the same time there were waves of strong vibrations. When everyone looked out the window in the direction of the light, their eyes widened immediately. To the west of Luteng City, a huge phantom of a phoenix bird was seen rising into the sky. After making a loud phoenix cry, it plunged into the vast mountains. Although the phoenix bird only appeared for a moment, everyone could see it clearly. Holy shit, what is that? Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 394. With the appearance of the phoenix-shaped shadow, most of the Green Vine City was alarmed. If they had doubts about Yang Lin's theory of cultivating immortals before, then when this vision of heaven and earth appeared, they no longer had any doubts in their hearts. Because it's just too obvious. At the same time, in the mountainous area where the vision occurred, a figure slowly emerged from the mountain. It was Yang Lin, who had previously disappeared into the mountains. At this moment, his complexion and appearance have changed significantly compared to before. Even an obscure phoenix feather appeared faintly on his forehead. I didn't expect that this dragon's cave is actually a hidden bird's nest. Burying my fake body here has enhanced my luck by more than 3 points. It's just that the commotion just made was too big. It would be bad if someone discovered it. As he spoke, Yang Lin looked at the mountains behind him again. After a while, he began to transform the mountain environment. At one time, the positions of some rocks were changed, and at the next, a few trees were planted at fixed positions. After several arrangements, the originally clear mountain suddenly became confusing. It was as if the entire mountain was shrouded in mist. And the Baniao Keahuan cave where he buried his fake body was completely hidden without a trace. Even using modern technology to look at it from above, you can't tell anything is amiss. This will finally make everything foolproof. With a slight smile, Yang Lin raised his feet and disappeared into the forest, heading towards another known top-quality dragon lair. Another half-hour passed, and a majestic Suanwu shadow appeared out of thin air in a mountain adjacent to Luteng City. By the afternoon, there were already 7 similar scenes throughout the Dragon Kingdom. The appearance of these strange phenomena in the world immediately caused the entire Dragon Kingdom to boil, and netizens speculated frequently. After finally waiting for the vision to subside, Yang Lin returned to Luteng City again. At this time, his luck was no longer comparable to before. It can be said that it is very noble, and the clouds above the head are like a canopy. If anyone who is good at observing qi sees this scene, he will probably be scared to death on the spot. I have occupied all the dragon caves in this fragment of the dragon-seeking scripture, and my luck has reached an unprecedented intensity. It's a pity that I don't know where the remaining fragments are. If I can find them all, I can survive that calamity safely no matter how strong I am. Thinking of this, Yang Lin suddenly tried to use calculation techniques to find clues to the dragon-searching scripture. What disappoints him is that his usually tried and tested deduction technique has no feedback at all at this moment. There are 2 situations that produce such a result. One is that the remaining Sun Long Sutra no longer exists in the world, and the other is that the remaining Sun Long Sun Sutra is hidden in a place that can isolate the secrets of heaven. For example, the Feng Shui treasure cave like before. That's all. This kind of existence is inherently unnatural. If it is really so easy to find them all, then it would be abnormal. Everything depends on God's will. With a slight sigh, Yang Lin put aside the matter of searching for the dragon scripture, and returned to the hotel room in a flash. At this time, several hours had passed since he left. He thought that no one would come to him during this period, but what he didn't expect was that when he opened the door, a slightly unfamiliar figure stood there in a daze. Compared to himself, this man was more surprised when he saw Yang Lin open the door. "Teacher Yang, were you always in there before?" Hearing this question, Yang Lin nodded without thinking. After the press conference, Pandeo went back to his room on his own and never went out. "Is that so?" The man seemed a little unconvinced, but he couldn't think of any other reason. It was also at this time that Yang Lin remembered the identity of the visitor. "You are the chief planner of the program team." Hearing that Yang Lin still remembered him, the man also had a flattered expression on his face. "Not yet, Pandeo has no other arrangements in the short term." "Daozang Yang, it's me, Xiao Zhao." After seeing Yang Lin standing at the door, the man immediately smiled. While showing an excited expression, Yao Yuan explained his previous thoughts to Yang Lin. "Build a living temple for you in the city, erect a statue in your honor, and receive incense and worship from all the people." And one of the things he had to face at that time was to overcome the heavenly tribulation. At that time, other artists will be like you, Teacher Yang, to experience the feeling of practicing Taoism on the mountain, and also to popularize the Taoist culture of our Dragon Kingdom to the audience. What do you think? So before that, he must ensure that he has sufficient means and confidence. We have decided to start construction there tomorrow. Mayor Gong invites you to come and watch the ceremony then." After carefully asking this question, Yao Yuan kept watching Yang Lin's reaction. Having said this, Yao Yuan couldn't help but have a flash of worry on his face. This is the case with Taoist Yang. "We, the citizens of Luteng City, are grateful for your great contributions to our city. Through the unanimous decision of the citizens, we, Luteng City, will also follow the example of Jinghai City." Fortunately, Yang Lin nodded at this time. As Zhao Dongsheng explained his purpose, Yang Lin was startled at first, and then showed a thoughtful expression. "Staying in the program group can save you a lot of trouble. Teacher Yang, you won't be finishing the filming of the program for the time being, right?" "That's great, we are preparing to adjust the shooting plan for future shows. This time I came to see you in person, Mr. Yang, because I actually wanted to discuss the content of the next program with you." Until Yang Lin shook his head and said. Just as he was silently calculating everything in his mind, another figure appeared at the end of the hotel corridor. The person who came was none other than Zhao Dongsheng, the secretary to the mayor of Luteng City. He firmly believes that if he can eliminate all the hidden dangers left over from his childhood and resolve the major crisis that threatens the entire Dragon Kingdom, the karma gained will definitely be enough to reach the peak of the Yang God realm. As long as the other guests agree, there will be no problem. In fact, it is the same for him to have arrangements. With his current cultivation level, wanting to go anywhere is just a thought. We have made preliminary reservations that we will go to Longhu Mountain for filming in the next period of time. After he left, Yang Lin also counted the time with his hands. Another living temple. "Mr. Yang, what you said seems to make sense. I'll contact you now. We should be able to start shooting normally tomorrow." After saying this, Yao Yuan left here quickly with a red face. Yes, it's me. My name is Yao Yuan. Teacher Yang can just call me Xiao Yao. We have already chosen the place. It is on Pagoda Mountain east of Luteng City. There is an ancient Taoist temple there, and the buildings are relatively well preserved. There are two main things he has to do now. One is to get rid of the evil methods left behind in the Dragon Kingdom as soon as possible, including but not limited to adding some elements of cultivating immortals to the program, and showing some daily life of cultivators. After saying these words, Yao Yuan's expression became anxious again. He was afraid that Yang Lin would not agree to his request. "But you don't have to go to Longhu Mountain. There are Taoist temples in Luteng City. It's better to shoot in the Taoist temple in Luteng City." Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q in Love is. Chapter 395. When he was in Jinghai before, the citizens of Jinghai City took the initiative to build a shrine for Yang Lin because of his escape from the typhoon. Now I didn't expect that the people of Lutang City would choose the same move. Yang Lin could almost conclude that they must have followed the practices of the citizens of Jinghai. He did not choose to refuse, because just now an idea suddenly came to him. But I don't know yet whether this idea is feasible. At the same time, the Come On Workers program team also released an update announcement for the program on its official website. The update announcement includes adjustments to the program content and changes in the next phase of filming. The key point is what Yao Yuan said to Yang Lin. Once these contents were exposed, fans and viewers of the show were immediately in an uproar. Are all variety shows changing so fast nowadays? How come they are updated faster than games? Yeah, isn't this the startup season that has just started? What's the matter? I'm not even halfway through starting a business, but my budget has been spent in the middle. There's no way. It's probably because it's too difficult to start a business. All the guests, except Yang Lin, are more or less overturned. So this time they just gave up entrepreneurship and went to the mountains to become Taoist priests. In the past, there was only one Taoist priest, Yang Lin, but now we need all Taoist priests, right? I can't help it. The topic of cultivating immortals is so hot now, and it was Yang Lin who started it. I heard that the Blue Channel next door is planning a new variety show about cultivating immortals. Brother, please cultivate immortality. Maybe the program team felt the pressure, so they changed the program content. If everyone follows this rhythm, then future variety shows will be interesting. Celebrities are going to Taoist temples to experience the profession of Taoist priests. I think it's a good start and I'm already looking forward to it. Haha, Huahua is a professional counterpart this time, so she should have an advantage. My pigeons seem to be in tune with each other. Taoist priests can also sing and dance. With the discussion among the audience and fans, everyone is unconsciously full of expectations for the new changes in the show. And time also quickly came to the next day under such circumstances. But it was only 7 o'clock in the morning, and the program team had already gathered all the celebrities together. Boss Yang, Reba, Lu Tianxian, Huahua, Xiao Yuiyu, and Kunkan whom they haven't seen for a long time. You should already know the direction of our next recording. Starting today, we will take you to the Taoist temple to experience the daily life of Taoists. All your actions will be conducted in accordance with a true religious person. Of course, we still have the usual working hours every day. You can do whatever you want after get off work. As the host on the scene briefly explained the general direction of the next recording, several celebrities also raised their own questions one after another. Xiao Yuiyu was the first to speak. Sorry, I want to ask, if we become Taoist priests, can we eat meat? Hearing Xiao Yuiyu's question, the host was obviously stunned for a moment, and finally looked at Yang Lin aside. People who practice Taoism do not abstain from meat, they just abstain from eating meat and fish. Ah! Doesn't meat count as meat? No, hongxing refers to onions, ginger, garlic, leeks, and other strong-flavored ingredients. Eating too much of these ingredients is harmful to the body, so we should not eat them. In addition, monks are also forbidden to eat beef, dog meat, wild geese, turtles, and other 4 types of meat. All other meats are allowed. After listening to Yang Lin's explanation, the guests present breathed a long sigh of relief. For most people, it might as well kill them if they were forced to abstain from meat altogether. Then what do we need to do every day after entering the Taoist temple? The second person to ask was Huahua. Yang Lin also gave an answer to his question. In addition to 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you also have to chant and study sutras. You can arrange your time after dinner as you like. It doesn't sound like it's difficult. I also feel that if that's the case, it would actually be good to be a Taoist priest for a while. Just think of it as letting yourself go. I saw an ancient building complex covering an area of about 200 square meters on a hilltop covered with weeds. The walls collapsed, the building was severely damaged, and the roof was full of holes. After seeing Yang Lin's arrival, these people immediately greeted him enthusiastically. In a week at most, we will be able to complete the repairs here. Then we will erect your golden body inside, and it will be considered complete. After Gong Baichen's enthusiastic introduction, he was ready to take Yang Lin to the groundbreaking ceremony. I hope the environment up there is the same as down below. Yes, this may be a rare leisure time. By the time a few people finally climbed to the top of the mountain, they were already exhausted and panting. Mayor Gong, Pandeo plans to complete the repair work of this Taoist temple himself. You can ask the construction team to withdraw. This can no longer be regarded as a Taoist temple, but should be called a ruins. This is Pagoda Mountain. It looks quite peaceful, like a feng shui treasure land. Listening to everyone's whispers, Yang Lin's face showed a hint of a bad smile unconsciously. Come on, let's start going up the mountain now. There are people waiting for us on the mountain. Huh? The construction company has withdrawn. Who will complete such a large project? As soon as Yang Lin said these words, everyone's faces suddenly showed extremely puzzled expressions. It's just that the gap between this Taoist temple and their ideals is slightly different. Today we are not going to Longhu Mountain, but to Pagoda Mountain. They didn't suddenly realize it until half an hour later when Yang Lin led them to a medium-sized barren mountain located in Luteng City. However, the on-site director finally turned his attention to Yang Lin. By the way, which Taoist temple are we going to this time? Is it the Longhu Mountain we mentioned yesterday? It should be fun there. It was extremely difficult to walk. Where you go next and what you do will be arranged by Pandeo. Taoist Master Yang, you are finally here. We will wait for you to arrive before starting today's groundbreaking ceremony. We have already found all the materials and workers needed to renovate the Taoist temple. As he spoke, Yang Lin pointed at Boss Yang and the others. The next second he took out several sets of blue robes from nowhere and threw them in front of several people. But fortunately, they finally saw the so-called Taoist temple at this time. Although Pagoda Mountain is not high, it is still several hundred meters high. In addition, because no one has repaired it, most of the stone steps have been damaged. What surprised them slightly was that there was a large group of people standing next to this building that could only be called a ruins. Before anyone could figure out who was waiting for them on the mountain, Yang Lin took the lead and walked up the mountain along the mountain path. As soon as these words came out, everyone present was immediately shocked. The remaining artists immediately raised their heels when they saw this. When talking about this issue, everyone unconsciously turned their attention to the on-site director. However, after they completed the foundation laying, Yang Lin suddenly said, "After taking a closer look, I discovered that these people were actually representatives of Luteng city officials and all walks of life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes." Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 396. At the top of Pagoda Mountain, as Yang Lin threw several Taoist robes in front of Boss Yang and others, both themselves and the audience were stunned. It took them a while to react. No, Yang Lin is planning to do it for real. We really need all of us to become Taoist priests. I still need to change my clothes, this is fine. I think he not only wants him to change into clothes, but also wants them to help decorate the Taoist temple. Good guy, do you want to start with decoration first? The show is getting more and more interesting. After Yang Lin sent everyone from the Luteng city officials away, Soon only the people from the program team and a pile of decoration materials were left in front of the dilapidated Taoist temple. The last glimmer of hope in the hearts of Boss Yang and several others was shattered. In desperation, they had no choice but to put on Taoist robes according to Yang Lin's request and rearrange their image. Not to mention, after putting on the robes, these people really looked like monks. Okay, starting from today, you are the registered Taoist priests of Yangzhou Miao. Your arrangements for the next period of time will be decided by Pandeo. As Yang Lin said these words, several artists nodded first, and then couldn't help but reveal a trace of doubt. Yangzhou Temple? Is that the name of this place? Isn't this a Taoist temple? Why is it called a temple? After hearing the doubts raised by everyone, Yang Lin quickly gave a corresponding explanation. The name Yangzhou Miao was voted by the people of Luteng City. As for the word temple, I'm afraid you have some misunderstandings. In the traditional sense, temple is Taoist, not Buddhist, but it was later used by Buddhists. For example, the Guandi Temple, the Jade Emperor Temple, and the Nuwa Temple are all Taoist temples, but to tell whether they are Taoist or Buddhist, you have to look at who is enshrined inside. I see. After listening to Yang Lin's explanation, everyone present and the audience in the live broadcast room immediately had a better understanding of Taoist culture. Okay, having said that, your morning lesson today is to clean up all the debris and weeds here. Ah, this. After looking at Yang Lin, who didn't look like he was joking, and then at the weeds as tall as a person and the debris everywhere, Boss Yang and the other 6 couldn't help but reveal a wry smile. But in the end they chose to do it. On the one hand, they considered the effect of the program, and on the other hand, they also sincerely wanted to learn something from Yang Lin. After all, Yang Lin is now the only openly cultivator in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Under such circumstances, several people quickly found tools. After several hours of hard work, all the weeds and debris around the Taoist temple were cleared away. Without these debris, although the Taoist temple itself is still very dilapidated, it is more popular and less desolate. Time also came to noon unknowingly amid the work of several people. Several people who had not eaten much breakfast only felt like drums in their stomachs after some physical labor. From time to time there were bursts of screams. Feeling the hunger in their bellies, they immediately walked towards Yang Lin. Master Yang, what should we have for lunch today? Yeah, I feel like I'm going to faint from hunger. Just as several people were asking questions about lunch, several program staff walked up the mountain carrying several large insulated boxes. After opening the insulated box, each well-prepared lunch box appeared in front of everyone. There are meat and vegetables, and it even comes with a chicken drumstick and a big bowl of soup. In an instant, the aroma of food filled the mountain top. It's time to eat, it's time to eat. Everyone has worked hard today. Each person will add a chicken leg. There will be fruits after the meal after dinner. As the support staff shouted, the staff on site rushed over in an instant. Seeing the scene and the alluring fragrance, Xiao Yuiyu was the first to be unable to resist. What are you eating? Just add me. One more person and one more pair of chopsticks. As he said that, he was about to step forward to eat. But he was soon rejected by the program crew. Teacher Yu, our lunch boxes today are calculated based on head count. There is no excess for one person. And there is meat in our food today. As a Taoist priest, you cannot eat these. You say so, Taoist Yang. After saying this, the staff at the scene began to cook seriously, and several artists present were so greedy that their saliva was almost drooling. Unconsciously, they looked at Yang Lin again. At this time, Yang Lin waved his sleeves. The next second a lot of things appeared in place. There are pots, shovels, drinking water, vegetables, and meat, everything a kitchen should have. As a cultivator, you should practice everything personally. There's a kitchen over there, and there's firewood next to it. Now you can put the pots up and figure out how to eat. Ah! As soon as they heard that Yang Lin actually asked them to solve it themselves, the expressions of several people changed. But they soon accepted this fact. It doesn't matter, as long as there are ingredients, I don't believe we can't make a table of meals. Yes, I'm going to collect firewood. I'm going to wash the vegetables. Then I'll light the fire. Leave the cooking to me. My years in the restaurant were not in vain. As they spoke, several people became more motivated. Xiao Yuiyu even rolled up his sleeves. After some smooth operations, all the preliminary work is ready. A blazing flame ignited in the brick stove. Xiao Yuiyu, who was dressed in Taoist robes, also transformed into a chef at this moment. It took less than an hour for a large table of dishes to be prepared. The starry artists who were already hungry couldn't care less. They placed the dishes on a large bluestone and ate them eagerly. While eating, they thought of something and quickly looked at Yang Lin. "Master, don't you want to eat some?" Hearing this question from everyone, Yang Lin shook his head directly. When you have reached the level of a poor Taoist, you no longer need to eat. Normally, eating is just to satisfy your appetite. You probably won't be satisfied with these meals. As soon as these words came out, Xiao Yuiyu's face suddenly showed a look of embarrassment. He, my appearance is indeed a little bad, but the taste is still acceptable. As soon as he finished saying this, Yang Lin walked up to them in front of them. Everyone thought he wanted to try Xiao Yuiyu's craftsmanship, but unexpectedly he reached out and touched the big bluestone that they thought was a table. After a few taps, a satisfied expression appeared on his face. Then I saw him walking towards the wood on the side. Before anyone could react, he picked up the tools and started carpentry. After a dazzling operation, he made a huge solid wood dining table. The entire process takes less than 5 minutes. In this process, everyone once again saw the power of immortal magic. You guys give way and eat at this table. This stone is of use to me. Ah! Facing Yang Lin's sudden request, several people looked confused. They put in so much effort just for the big rock below them. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 397. This large bluestone lying across the entrance of the Taoist temple has experienced many years of wind and sun, and it is already covered with moss. The one exposed alone is nearly half the size of a person, and weighs at least 5 tons. At first, everyone was not sure what Yang Lin wanted to do when he looked at the big bluestone, until he reached into the lower edge of the big bluestone with one hand. No matter how hard he exerted his strength, he lifted the large bluestone weighing several tons with one hand. The whole process is like lifting a piece of foam. The artists and program staff present were immediately stunned. But they reacted quickly. Good. Teacher Yang is really powerful. Is this the power of an immortal cultivator? It's too terrifying. Why did he almost forget his identity as an immortal cultivator? I don't know if we can have such a day if we practice Taoism with him. As long as it can be done to this extent, let alone let me do the decoration, I will be willing to clean up all the debris on the mountain inside and out. Come on, come on. Just when everyone was expressing their amazement, Yang Lin had already lifted the boulder up. After helping him up, everyone discovered that the big bluestone actually looked a bit like a human. It has a head and a body, and you can even see its general outline. It was half hidden in the soil before, so it wasn't very obvious. I understand, Teacher Yang is planning to add a statue to this Taoist temple. Oh, that's it, that's all I'll say. It means there seems to be something missing here. I don't know what was originally enshrined in this temple. No matter what was originally enshrined, now I think it should be changed. This place has been officially established by Luteng City as Teacher Yang's birth shrine, so it should be Teacher Yang himself who is enshrined. Worship yourself? It feels weird. I heard that the temples outside are very efficacious now. Whatever you ask for will come to you. I wonder if offering Teacher Yang to him will have such an effect. Just as everyone thought, Yang Lin took out the carving tools after standing up the big blue stone. After the last 9 ox formation, it can be said that he has become more and more proficient in stone carving. You don't even need to make a prototype, you already have a rough idea in your mind at a glance. There was no delay in the tool in hand, one hammer after another without any pause. On this empty mountain top, the tinkling sounds are like a symphony. Everyone who had just finished their meal gathered around him one by one. Looking at Yang Lin's superb skills, he would exclaim in surprise from time to time. Teacher Yang and others are no exception. Tisk, 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 this skill is enough for us to learn. It's simply a master-level technique. Some of the masters I've seen before are nothing like this. By the way, is this craft also something you need to learn to practice Taoism? It should be an elective course. Why do I feel that Yang Lin knows a little bit about everything? Are all immortal cultivators so versatile? Is there a possibility that the brain structure of immortal cultivators is slightly different from that of ordinary people like us, so it would be easier to learn anything? As soon as these words came out, the eyes of several artists suddenly lit up. Really? Hee, I guessed it, but it should be basically the same. Hurry up and record the video. While talking, everyone took out their equipment and started taking pictures. And under the eyes of everyone, a stone statue that looked 90% similar to Yang Lin himself took shape. He is also a young Taoist, with the same handsome face and the same sword on his back. Even the temperament is very close. Although it is a stone statue, it feels like it is alive, especially the compassionate eyes. In addition, when facing this stone statue, everyone felt like they wanted to kneel down and worship. The closer the distance, the stronger the feeling. When Yang Lin casually hung it at the entrance, it instantly raised the level of the place a lot. Hey, what else are you going to do, Teacher Yang? These 2 lines of text were like the finishing touch, and the eyes of everyone who read it again were filled with brilliance. After all, as a cultivator, spatial ability is a must. From a wild temple in the mountains to a hidden place. Now that I see it, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. After picking left and right, I finally found a log as thick as a human waist. They thought something was missing here before, but now they realized that it was missing a plaque. What's even more rare is that these 3 words complement the environment here. If I had to describe it, it would probably be solemn and solemn. After some mortise and tenon work, a plaque about 2 meters long and 1 meter wide was completed. The handwriting is majestic and full of aura. Even people who don't know calligraphy can't help but shout good calligraphy after seeing these 3 characters. So just when Xiao Yuyu wanted to get closer and get a closer look, his knees went weak and he knelt on the ground. And everyone has long been envious of his ability to get whatever he wants. Under everyone's doubtful gazes, he found 2 wooden boards of similar length again. I saw him walking straight towards the pile of wood. Only then did everyone understand Yang Lin's intention. Yang Zhu Miao. The main hall, which was originally empty and decadent, suddenly had a different feeling after having this statue. Without a proper door, this temple will always remain an unknown temple. Originally, everyone thought that Yang Lin would stop after hanging the plaque here, but it turned out that he walked towards the gate again. Seeing that the plaque was ready, Yang Lin casually took out the pen and ink from his sleeve. Yeah, I don't even think there's any need to overdecorate other places. This extremely dilapidated Taoist temple has become extraordinary because of this stone statue. Even the magnificent main hall of Dalian Temple has never given people such a feeling. Fortunately, at this time, Yang Lin used his right hand to lift the stone statue up, and then placed it on the altar of the main hall of the Taoist temple. Teacher Yang's actions are extraordinary. There are just 2 more things. Suddenly I feel that this place is different. Unconsciously, a sentence popped into everyone's mind. On the right is the Immortal's mansion, and on the left is the Taoist mansion of Tongshao Taoist. With one stroke of the pen, 2 lines of text were written on the 2 wooden boards. Immediately, he pulled out the sword from his back, and with a few strokes of the sword, the log turned into flat wooden boards. If the mountains are not high, they will be famous if they have immortals; if the water is not deep, if there are dragons, they will be spiritual. With the pen and ink in hand, Yang Lin did not think too much, and wrote 3 big characters directly on the empty plaque with the thick brush in his hand. The atmosphere is immediately full. However, just as everyone seemed to be frozen, Yang Lin started to move again. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 398. Couplets, plagues, and statues of gods. These 3 things placed in this dilapidated Taoist temple give people the feeling of a shit basin with gold rim, but at the same time they bring an unexpected harmony. Everyone looked at it for a long time and finally gave their thumbs up. Teacher Yang is still amazing. With this couplet, I instantly feel like a fairy cave. Now even a piece of broken wood inside feels like it was originally like that. The only one who is a little out of tune is us. Don't say it, don't say it, it seems like that's really the case. Now that the meal is finished, let's stop being idle. It's time to do something. Even adding a brick or a tile can be regarded as a contribution to this place. If Teacher Yang really becomes an immortal in the future, we might still be able to take advantage of it. That makes sense. After some emotion, several artists present and the staff of the program team came together, picked up the materials on the side, and started working on their own. Some people acted as masons, repairing the damaged walls and buildings inside the Taoist temple one by one. Some people started carpentry work, replacing the damaged doors, windows, and beams of the Taoist temple with new ones one by one. Boss Yang and the others were not idle either. They picked up paint buckets and cleaning tools and started renovating the Taoist temple. And the audience watched this busy scene with gusto. Only Yang Lin stood quietly aside, giving instructions to everyone from time to time. When they encounter something they don't know how to do, they will give pointers. Under the busy work of dozens of people, the originally dilapidated Taoist temple was gradually improved. By afternoon, the main body of the Taoist temple had taken on a new look. The outer courtyard wall was also painted with a layer of red paint, and the tiles on the top were uniformly replaced with green. Coupled with the quiet surrounding environment, it looks antique and has a touch of Zen. It was in stark contrast to what it looked like in the morning. Just at this time, a ray of sunset shone through the gap in the forest, and the beautiful appearance instantly made everyone look intoxicated. Especially when they see the results of their busy day. This place is really beautiful. No wonder the Taoists like to live in seclusion in this mountain. It feels like I haven't looked at my phone for a day, and I haven't been bombarded by external information. All my worries are gone. If possible, it seems good to practice in this mountain all the time. No, you can't think like that. If you think like that again, you really want to become a monk. Just when everyone was obsessed with the scenery in the mountains, Yang Lin's voice suddenly came from the side. The results of your practice today are good, so I will let you go back early. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned at first and then overjoyed. Teacher Yang, are you serious? Are you really going to let us go now? It's only 6 o'clock now, shouldn't there be evening classes? What you did today is already considered as practicing, so the evening classes will be waived for you. Yang Lin explained softly. So that's it? Then we'll really go back and come back early tomorrow morning. As he said this, Boss Yang and the program team were ready to go down the mountain. But before going down the mountain, they seemed to have thought of something again, and suddenly turned around and walked back. Under Yang Lin's confused gaze, they each picked up a stick of incense from the table beside them. After lighting it, he respectfully placed it in the incense burner while not forgetting to bow. Teacher Yang, we were the first to offer incense to you. If you become an immortal in the future, don't forget us. Yes, Teacher Yang, you must protect us. We are our own people after all. Let's knock together. While they were talking, everyone half-jokingly took turns kowtowing on the futon in front of the statue. However, while they were kowtowing, Yang Lin on the side suddenly felt a strange change. A faint trace of white smoke floated out from the heads of everyone, first resting on the statue, and finally fed back to him through the statue. This feeling is somewhat similar to when I transformed into true Lord Fei Long, but it is also somewhat different. What he got before was only the transformed karma, but this time it was mixed with other things. With the power of all living beings, it seems they really worship me as a god. If these sentient beings have enough willpower, wouldn't it allow me to become a god in my physical body and gain an additional layer of identity as a god? As soon as he thought of this, he vaguely felt an invisible layer of brilliance on his body. The merits that he didn't know how to use at first suddenly had a hint of enlightenment in his heart at this moment. As soon as these words came out, everyone's faces suddenly showed doubtful looks. Those who have both talents at the same time are called gods, and now Yang Lin already possesses the qualities of a god. Such a scene immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the hall. I watched the gods on TV with this thing on the back of their heads. Teacher Yang really became a god. Really, it's colorful, what is this? Naturally, everyone saw the series of changes, but they still didn't quite understand what it meant. Until Yang Lin opened his mouth to explain. In addition, the vast amount of merit has other uses. Thinking of this, he immediately looked at everyone present. Eventually it becomes invisible. Holy crap, Teacher Yang, the back of your head is glowing. Everyone quickly gathered around Yang Lin. After clicking, red dots appeared out of thin air. From time to time, colorful rays of light emit from above. Gods rely on merit and belief, and immortals rely on their own cultivation. At this moment, Yang Lin stretched out his index finger and touched everyone's eyebrows. With this golden will of merit, he has another layer of protection. This is a blessing given to you by the poor Taoist. From today on, everything will go smoothly for you without any restrictions. In this dim situation, they saw the golden will of merit behind Yang Lin's head with just one glance. Since ancient times, gods are gods and immortals are immortals. Just such a red dot, is it really that powerful? It turns out that this is how merit should be used. Facing everyone's exclamation, Yang Lin's expression remained the same. I just want to say that this kowtow is not in vain. If I didn't kowtow, I wouldn't be able to see this today. Although he didn't quite understand what Yang Lin was going to give, he couldn't help his curiosity. So cool. Come here, Pandeo will give you something. The next second he put away the golden will of merit behind his head. As his mind moved, part of the massive merit he had stored turned into a golden will of merit and hung on the back of his head. If you encounter danger, I can protect you from disaster once. At first, these red dots were like red agate, but after a few seconds, the red dots gradually faded away. It's weak but it exists. As expected, I have been deified since I was worshipped by them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 399. After Yang Lin finished blessing everyone, he immediately sent everyone down the mountain, while he stayed alone in the Taoist temple to study the use of merit. Not long after, the Taoist temple fell into silence again. Everyone in the program group, including Teacher Yang and several other artists, walked down the mountain together. As we walked, it got gradually darker. Since Pagoda Mountain has never been developed before, there are neither street lights nor roads, so everyone can only go down the mountain along the way they came. Fortunately, they were so outnumbered that they didn't feel scared. As they walked down the mountain, they discussed what happened on the mountain during the day. I didn't know until today that Teacher Yang is so powerful. It seems that he was hiding it before. Yes, with his methods, let alone an immortal cultivator, I would believe him even if you said he was an immortal. Thankfully I didn't offend him in the first place. If I had offended him, I would be so worried that I wouldn't even be able to sleep. Why is such a cultivator willing to develop in the entertainment industry? I guess it's to refine one's mind in the world of mortals. That's what's written in novels, to experience all kinds of things in the world. Real or fake. Whether it's true or not, it's our opportunity to have a social relationship with Teacher Yang. During this period, he is still willing to play with us. We can learn more from him. Yes, you are right. While everyone in the program group was chattering, Teacher Yang and other artists touched their eyebrows from time to time. They felt as if the words Yang Lin just said were still in their ears. Bless me, can that red dot really help us eliminate disasters? Yang Lin shouldn't lie to us. Speaking of which, I feel like the center of my eyebrows suddenly started to beat, Reba suddenly said. Hearing her words, Lu Tianxian also quickly touched his eyebrows. It seems like mine is the same, right from the beginning. As the two said these words, everyone in the program team seemed to be aware of it, and they all touched their foreheads. One of them said loudly after touching it. It's mine too. What's going on? It wasn't there just now. The other part looked confused. We didn't. Is it because we were too tired? Faced with two completely different situations, everyone present looked at each other first, and then didn't take it too seriously. After finally walking down the mountain in the dark, they got into the cars they came from. When he first got in the car, everything was normal, but just when the driver was about to start the car, Lu Tianxian's expression suddenly changed as he was sitting in one of the SUVs. Sister Me, don't you feel anything is wrong? Suddenly hearing Lu Tianxian's words, Boss Yang was stunned for a moment, then looked around. No, everything is normal. Even Reba looked around after hearing the conversation between the two. What's wrong? Didn't you notice that everyone who felt their eyebrows beating just now sat together? Those who didn't feel it were in other cars. Huh? Is there such a thing? After listening to Lu Tianxian's explanation, the two people immediately opened the car windows and looked at other vehicles. Relying on the short memory just now, he scanned the faces of the passengers in the car one by one. Sure enough, as Lu Tianxian said, those who felt the beating of their eyebrows just now sat together, and those who did not feel the beating of their eyebrows also sat together. The entire convoy was divided into two parts. It seems like this is true. Is this a coincidence? Reba said with a puzzled look. There is no such coincidence in the world. I think there must be a reason, Lu Tianxian said with determination. It's not like something is going to happen. While talking, the three of them looked at each other. I feel the same way. But despite this, the two steel coils continued unabated, heading straight towards the vehicle behind them. In the helpless eyes of the three people, the convoy drove towards the city center. The words of Boss Yang and others also fell on deaf ears. While the three of them were talking, a large truck at the front of the team, carrying a load of steel coils, didn't have time to brake and crashed into a garbage truck in front of it. It seems that we really overthought it. I feel like my eyebrows have stopped beating. Facing such a result, their hearts froze, and many of them were even ready to close their eyes and wait for death. The steel coil weighing more than 20 tons hit the ground with an unstoppable momentum. Fortunately, the car behind me didn't follow too closely, otherwise it would have been smashed on the spot. In this situation, unless they are driving a tank, there is only a dead end. It wasn't until they felt the beating between their brows disappear that they breathed a sigh of relief. But because there was an obstacle in front of it, it didn't roll forward in the end. But I still feel that something will happen. Lu Tianxian's brows were still furrowed. Don't think too much about it. Mr. Yao has already booked a seat at the hotel. Everyone has had a hard day today. The program team decided to invite everyone to have a meal at the hotel. Usually the twitching between the eyebrows is caused by excessive anxiety and high mental stress. However, at this moment, the people sitting in the car suddenly felt their brows getting hot. Boss Yang, you are worrying too much. We are taking the city road, what could happen? Following these words from the on-site director, everyone present immediately cheered loudly. But the back and forth strength has not disappeared. Seeing her serious expression, Reba quickly comforted. It was the beginning of night, and the roads were busy and jammed with all kinds of vehicles. Even so, they still looked nervous. There seems to be a traffic jam ahead. In the end, Boss Yang took the initiative to get out of the car and found the on-site director. When they watched the huge steel coil coming towards them, everyone was dumbfounded. What the director said makes sense. What can happen on the main road in the city? Don't worry, Yang Lin has already said that he will bless us. What can happen to us? The car of Boss Yang and 3 others that was supposed to follow them fell behind by about 500 meters due to their strong request. The driver wanted to retreat, but the cars behind him were already blocked and there was no place to retreat. As luck would have it, 3 cars from the program crew were following closely behind. The car carrying the program staff drove at the front. After a busy afternoon, they were indeed already hungry. The inertia caused by the huge impact moment directly caused the steel coil placed behind the large truck to shift. After explaining the situation, the on-site director showed a dismissive expression on his face. After the fixed rope was pulled off, 2 of the steel coils rolled straight towards the back of the car. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 400. The steel coil weighing more than 20 tons rushed towards them like a giant beast, but there was no obstruction in front of everyone. In addition, the distance was too short, and no one even had time to get out of the car. If they were to run over like this, both the people and the car would be crushed into pancakes on the spot. However, at this critical moment, everyone suddenly felt their eyebrows getting hot, and then a mysterious power radiated from everyone's bodies. Under the influence of this invisible force, a large hole suddenly opened in the ground only a few meters away from everyone. As the ground suddenly cracked, the menacing steel coils immediately fell into it. All the huge energy was absorbed by the broken ground. It was stuck on the spot. At this moment, the 2 steel coils were less than 1 meter away from everyone's cars. Under such circumstances, several timid program staff fainted from fright. Even some brave people broke out in sweat when faced with such a situation, and their limbs and teeth kept trembling. It's like walking before the gate of hell. It took them a while to react. The driver of the first car took out a few pieces of paper from the paper box in front of him with a slight trembling. While shaking, I wiped the sweat off my face and neck with a tissue. After wiping, it took nearly a minute to unbuckle the seat belt and open the door. After getting out of the car, he didn't forget to punch his thigh several times, and then he walked to the front of the car with a look of horror. Looking at the completely stuck steel coil and the inexplicably large pit in front of him, he once again thought of the burning sensation between his eyebrows just now. After him, other members of the program team and other drivers and passengers also got out of the car and gathered around him. When they saw the situation clearly, they immediately took a breath of cold air. Dear me, such a big steel coil just fell off the car. If it was hit, 10 lives would be lost. Yeah, I just watched them roll down from the car with my own eyes. I was so scared that I was scared to pee from dozens of meters away. Thanks to the luck of these brothers, two big pits suddenly appeared on the ground, otherwise the gods wouldn't be able to stop them. By the way, this section of road is not a soft road section, so why are there two big potholes popping up unexpectedly? Yes, I just saw that these two pits had already appeared before the steel coil rolled over, otherwise it would not have been such a coincidence that it got stuck in the pits. I guess there are gods protecting you, otherwise you would have died long ago under normal circumstances. Yes, if you can survive, you are lucky. Take the time to find a temple to worship. While the onlookers were talking to each other, the driver of the big truck in front also walked over in a limp state. It's like losing one's soul. The moment the steel coil rolled down, he had already prepared for the worst. But he never expected that it would end like this. The moment he saw everyone in the program group intact, he collapsed on the ground. At the same time, Boss Yang and others also came from behind. After confirming that no one was injured this time, they immediately breathed a sigh of relief. That's great. I hope everyone is okay. Yeah, we were scared to death when we were in the back just now. Now I finally know why I had the twitching feeling between my eyebrows before. As Lu Tianxian said these words, everyone in the program crew who looked like they were surviving a disaster immediately looked at her. Thinking about what they had just experienced, they immediately recalled what happened when they went down the mountain and the abnormal beating of their eyebrows before. It turns out that the beating between the eyebrows is really a sign that we will encounter danger. Yes, absolutely. No wonder Teacher Yang said at that time that the red dot between our eyebrows can help us ward off a disaster. So that's it? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have gone so far or gone another way. Suddenly I felt that the big hole that just appeared on the ground was not a coincidence, but the blessing of Teacher Yang had an effect. I also agree with this view. Otherwise, why would the perfectly fine ground suddenly sink? You see, there is a steel structure underneath. Just now when the steel coil was about to arrive, I felt a burning feeling between my eyebrows. It took nearly an hour for everyone to get back on the road. After a while, he suddenly had another enlightenment. Teacher Yang said you can only block it once, right? A magical scene happened in the next second. This power of faith is indeed of great benefit to the gods, almost as much as the power of cause and effect. Yang Lin is no longer an outsider, but a living god walking in the world. After hearing Reba's opinion, everyone's eyes suddenly brightened. What I thought more about was what I saw inside the Taoist temple. He took out the little tiger that had been sleeping inside from his arms. After arriving at the hotel, they had no intention of eating. Thinking of this, Yang Lin immediately counted on his fingers, and instantly he knew what happened. It seems like it's really what you said. Huh? Why did their faith increase so quickly? I saw that the little tiger, which was originally only the size of a house cat, immediately began to expand at an abnormal speed after being instilled with the power of merit. This is probably a bug. Did something happen? At the same time, Yang Lin, who was studying the use of merit in the Taoist temple, also felt something. Perhaps the only people who felt lucky were the few people in Boss Yang's car. Looking at the sleeping little guy, he directly instilled a large amount of merit power into the little tiger's body. It's too late to say anything now, just remember to be careful in the future. I knew I would have listened to Boss Yang when I just came down the mountain. But now is not the time to think about this. Such a big thing happened, and people from relevant departments soon arrived at the scene. Because they followed Lu Tianxian's reminder and did not choose to follow, the blessing given by Yang Lin was still there. You said that if this blessing can sense danger and jump every time, then can we adjust our behavior based on the sense? So that's the case, no wonder their belief in me has skyrocketed. As long as you successfully avoid danger, the blessing effect will always be there. Their views on Yang Lin completely changed at this moment. Wouldn't that mean this opportunity was wasted by us? Under such circumstances, their beliefs turned into invisible threads and merged into the pagoda mountain. Reba even thought of a special way to use it. As he spoke, he took in the power of faith contributed by the program team and others. After that, he started studying the power of merit again. However, as soon as these words were said, the faces of those who had wasted their blessings became even more ugly. After understanding the reason, everyone felt a pang of regret.